Dean Davison, Storm Surge LLC, meteorologist, severe weather specialist here at liveweatherblogs.com. We're talking about derechos and what happens during derechos. We usually have a high pressure set up to the south of a front, and then you have a front stalled out or just north of the area. When that occurs, you get lines of thunderstorms develop along that front and that ridge of the actual high pressure system to cause a derecho. Derechos, by definition, need to expand over 500 miles, have damaging wind gusts over 58 miles an hour during that whole time across the area. Well, this one developed back Illinois area and decided to come across Indiana, and by 4 o'clock Eastern time was in parts of Ohio. It was dropping down 6 o'clock. We got in eastern Ohio. By 8 o'clock, we were in West Virginia, and by 8:39ish, we were here in the Roanoke area. And it looks like, as these radar scans are here, they have less, it looks like less yellow, which would consider yourself. Where's the thunderstorms? Well, the issue is this was a big line of wind. Lots of wind occurred during this situation, over 80 miles an hour in Roanoke, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. But this is what makes a derecho. It has to be over 500 miles, and it has to be a mesoscale convective system or a squall line. Damage map starts back in Ohio, and you can see how it widens out and V's out. Southern New Jersey down to North Carolina, with most of your concentrated damage was between D.C. and southern southwest Virginia into West Virginia. That was your damage swath where most of your damage occurred. It was like a little piece in West Virginia doesn't look damaged, but they were damaged. I actually went through West Virginia the day after with work and had to go out to Charleston. And let me tell you right now, everything in there was damaged. There's not a lot of spotters out there, so there's why you don't have that. And with 1,113 wind reports and over 36 were damaging, highly damaging, over 65 mile an hour winds, or about 70 miles an hour. Southwest Virginia, you see where the majority here is Blacksburg, here's Roanoke. You've seen that wind is right here. This whole area had wind damage. Sporadic, not sporadic, it was widespread, and just a lot of, like I said, there's places that don't have spotters. So during that time, we had Roanoke at 81 miles an hour, Lewisburg at 58, Martinsville 56, Lynchburg at 55, 52 in Blacksburg and 50. So where was the strongest winds? Roanoke. And after you came off the mountains, that strong push of wind definitely pushed out extremely heavily. And it was many of wind meters. Mine was 86. Many wind meters went over 90. So from people we know, this is just the airport's reports. So we had 90 mile an hour winds, which is destructive. So this is what you see during a derecho. Radar, and I'm going to show you a few things here. This is the radar as it came into Roanoke. Roanoke is right about here. Watch how there's like a line that comes out in front of the line. That is your gust front. And that's where your derecho mainly occurred. The other thing we had to look at, and that I'm investigating locally on this specific derecho, was the potential of gust tornadoes and/or tornadoes right on the edge of the line. So we think that did occur in some locations. It's easier to see on this velocity scan how it blows way out in front of the actual line. The actual line's back here. Watch what happens. It blows out in front. Then you had tons of wind occurring. Like I said, 90 mile an hour wind. Here's a look at the derecho. Okay. That occurred. Consequently, 2 derechos occurred. This was the one that was the most damaging. The one that came through Roanoke. Here it is, coming out of Iowa, blasted its way through West Virginia, blew its way through Roanoke, expanded it out here to here. Would it leave an outflow boundary? So here we come another storm, and this would be just about derecho 2, and it's ended with the amount of winds that occurred, and this one just pushed south. It ridge rode, and that's why you call those ridge riders. This was tornado 1 before it dissipated. I remember this day very well, and this is a derecho. This is what a derecho is. It went over 500 miles and had all the wind reports. So that's your derecho. During a derecho, this was during an actual event we had here that was a car show on Williamson Road, Roanoke. That's when you're hearing in the background. Alright. This is Williamson Road. Tons of people on the road. And you'll see how this occurs. All this wind, you'll see like dust up here. You'll start seeing debris flying around. And eventually you'll see the lights go out. Note there is no rain falling. This is why these are so dangerous. You're seeing the actual wind blowing towards you. No rain, just a ton of wind. And like I said, winds were at 80 miles an hour, and you're going to lose electric. Trees were getting ripped out of the ground. Ton of debris blowing down the road. Just a taste of what the Derecho does to an area. And let me tell you, we're without power for well over 3 weeks. And the next day was 100 degrees. So when we got over 100 degrees, you see the lights went out now. Lights were right here. Lights went out. 100 degrees next day. A lot of crap, debris on the road, all over the road, and this just continues. We're not going to go any further. Well, that's a Derecho for you. So, thank you for watching what a Derecho is and what it can do. D&D Davidson, liveweatherblogs.com.